Hi, everybody. How are you all today? Hope you're having an amazing day, morning, night. I'm not sure where you are located in the world or what time zone it is for you. Thank you all for coming. My name is Brittany, and I will be your studio host today from Etcher. We have an amazing artist, Alisa. She is from Moscow. And she will
Hello.
be painting, like a Simpsons kind of style donut. She'll be painting at her own pace today, but we will be doing a mini workshop where she'll take you step by step and show her process. I'll give you guys a little bit more information on that later. If you're new today, thank you for coming. And if you're a frequent flyer with us, thank you also for coming. You know how the chat works and everything. If you're new, then I'll just explain a couple of things before we get started. If you want to ask a question, feel free. We do a Q&A session at the end. So I'll save most of them for that. If you don't see your question pop up, it's probably because I'm saving it. If you want to ask a question in the chat, just type it in with all capital letters so I can defer it a little bit easier from just a comment. Without further ado, I think that's pretty much it on my end. I'll let Alisa take over and she'll show us a couple things first before we get right into the artwork.
Yes, hi everyone. Again, my name is Alisa and I live in Moscow. I'm an illustrator. I'm painting children books that I'm telling you about myself a little bit. I'm painting children books, food packaging, and my favorite theme is food illustration. I want to show you a little bit my works. Now I'm painting a book and I'm preparing a lot of flowers, illustration, food illustration. So this is my style. This is how I paint. And I hope you will enjoy today's video. And today we will paint donut, yes, as Brittany said, because I know I like teach people, and I know that my students like painting donuts because they are very bright and juicy, and everyone like donuts. And I hope you will like it too, and we will have a good time today.
Awesome, yeah. Let's get started.
Yes, we will use today Etcher products. I will paint in Etcher Sketchbook, brush 12, Etcher colors, the same Etcher. You should have also palette, paper towel, or just some towel, kneaded eraser, and pencil, and water. Can we start painting? Yes?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. So we will be painting something like this, something like
Beautiful.
something this donut. Thank you. I think it won't be the same just because every painting is unique, and always we have different paintings of the same donut. So let's start. I will start from a quick pencil sketch. So we need it because won't be confused. I will make it, I think, here. If you have a big sketchbook, make it the whole paper, because we will have a lot of details, and we should have a big donut to make all these details. So if you have, I use hard pencil, because when you paint in cotton paper, you need to make just like sketch, and if you have very soft pencil, pencil lines will be very dark. So we need to make very light sketch, because watercolor is very transparent, and if you will make dark pencil lines, it will be visible under the watercolor. So don't press on your pencil again, and let's make a quick sketch. I need to make just 2 ovals, and I will show you how it should look. If we will paint a donut, it should look like this. When we want to paint donut now, it should look like this, I think. You should see the difference because so give me a minute, please.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, let's start painting. I can't explain it in English, so I will show you. I paint this cross. If you can't paint a perfect oval or perfect round, you should paint this cross and paint and draw it like this. It should be more easier for you to make.
Oh, that's a good trick.
Yes, to perfect oval. And the bottom part should be bigger than top part. So I make like this and a little bit bigger. I have a text near me because I can forget to explain something, and I need to watch. What should I say for you?
No problem.
And I want to say you that before we start to work with watercolor, I want to say you about shadows and lights, about the volume, how to work with the volume, and how to make our donut more realistic. And I also show you how to make it. Watch the corners of these ovals because they shouldn't be very sharp. Shouldn't be very sharp like this.
Right.
And
yeah.
it shouldn't be too wide. It shouldn't be something medium. No.
A good halfway point.
Yes. And again, we paint 2 ovals and just connect them. The second oval should be here, and we can paint the second oval because we have a glaze and we have bottom part,
right?
And we should paint all of them. Should be something like this. I think here. I'm always start from the simple forms, from the ovals, from rounds, from squares. It's better to start, especially if you're beginner, and it's better to start with the simple forms. And then we will make it more detailed. I'm using my kneaded eraser to remove strokes that I don't need. And make different details. Of course, I make the middle of the donut and painting the details.
I love how realistic your food turns out. Like, it makes me just want to eat it.
Yes, I like painting realistic food, but I also like to make it very fast because I have a little child and I don't have enough time for painting.
Yeah.
When he was very small, I have only 15-30 minutes for painting. So since this time I like to paint fast, and I like to teach my students paint also very fast because many of my students are also moms, and they also have child, and they also paint just about 30 minutes while child is sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
The important thing, don't try to make paint all the details of the donut, because if you will make it simple, it won't look very realistic. If at the beginning we try to make the simple form, in the end we try to make draw more details, because details help us to understand that it's something realistic, something complicated, and these details help us to make realistic objects. I'm taking note about food illustration. It's also about flowers, architecture, and other different things. You should always add more details to show realistic that this object is, again, more details. For example, the glaze have something like this. It's not just round or oval.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to show you before our sketch is done. I will add powder later, but I will make it with watercolor. I won't paint it, but I wanted to show you about, before we start, I wanted to show you about volume. You can see that every object, if you want to paint our objects with volume, it always have highlight. It calls highlight. Am I right? I forget.
Yep, that's
highlight. Yes, highlight and shadows. Every object has highlight and shadows, and it should be difference between shadows and highlights. You can see it's very light, and this part is very dark. And the same we should make with our donut. We should find the more lightest part. On my donut, the lightest part is here. I slightly show it, but you can don't draw it. I just show it for you. And here, and a little here. Here, highlight here doesn't have very very sharp edges. It has blur edges, and also here. So this part should be the lightest parts of our donut, and it will help us to show the volume. Don't make it with, don't paint it with colors. I will take etcher colors, as I said, and I will use this sweet red color, this sweet red. In some colors it can called crop-lac, but it depends on your colors. And we will work with layers. The first layer will be very diluted with much amount of water, and we will make it very, very light. Don't hurry to make it very dark. Don't make shadows for the first layer. Just make it very light. So I start. Where is my, I think, no. I think it's here, yes. So I'm making a lot of, I add a lot of water here. And paint. If you have too dark pencil lines, just use your kneaded eraser and you shouldn't have very bright lines, but I have because I want you to see what I'm painting. So I use my, I press on my pencil a little bit more than I should make it. And you have too dark lines, just use your eraser. So again, I use a lot of water because watercolor loves water, and we need to use more water to show more water. We just need to use more water. It's good for every watercolor painting, but not so much water. It shouldn't be a lake with the color. Leave highlights without color. If you have, if you make some mistakes in this stage, it's okay because it's the very first layer and you can make these mistakes. It's okay. We will work with them later. I have very sharp edges here, and I want them to be blur them a little. I use I clean my brush and a little bit and use my towel and make this with edges, and they don't look so sharp.
So that's just a clean brush. You're going in to blur
Yes,
things.
Yes, clean brush. If you have too much color and you forget to leave these highlights, just wash your brush to, I forget the word, to use your towel and with the dry brush, make highlights. Wash these highlights if you forget to make them.
Right. You can dab it with a towel or paper towel as well to remove color.
Right, yes. And now we will make a little bit shadows, but not too much, just while this color, our layer is wet, we add a little bit shadows. Our shadows is here.
Oh, I love the effect.
Yes, I like it also. It's I love to use it on, for example, on popsicles or different animals, rabbits, or different animals also look very beautiful. Here is color is dry, but it's okay. We can blur it and it won't be very sharpened. Because I'm talking too much and my layer is dry. So I blurred the edges with the wet brush.
This is good though, because it shows, oh, sorry. I was just gonna say it's good because then it shows us if this happens to you, how to fix it.
Yes, right. So adding the shadows. Don't be scared to add too much shadows because watercolor is very transparent, and when it will dry, it won't look very dark. But at the same way, don't make too dark layer, because we need to have, as I said, a difference between highlights and shadows, and this difference should be visible. And also I want to tell you about one tip. We always need to have a good contrast between highlights and shadows, and you can make your when you paint, you can make a photo of your painting and make it in black and white. If your painting has different different types of gray, for example, light gray and very dark gray, or just black, your painting has a good contrast. It's good for your work. But if your painting is gray in every place, it's not very good. Just add more contrast to your painting.
I think we call that value, right? Is that what it's called?
Don't understand you, sorry.
It's okay. I think what you're describing with the contrast and showing the different levels of gray is called a value scale.
Value scale, okay. I understand.
I was just trying to remember for myself.
Yes, I understand. So we have a light volume now, but we of course should make it more, but we make it a little bit later. Now I want to add more pink color in some places, and just to make shadows darker, because here is the most darkest shadows, and I can make it very dark. It's okay. I want to add a little blue color. When you paint shadows, add blue color to your paint. For example, I am painting with pink, and I add a little blue to make violet. But don't use violet from your palette. For example, I won't use this violet royal purple, but this is violet, but I won't use it because I need for shadows, I need to have this color in my shadows. I hope you understand my explanation.
Yep, I understand.
Oh, it's great. So I am adding shadows here, and maybe here, a little bit here. And the same, I blur the edges. My brush is not very wet. I use my towel to make it not very wet, because if I won't use towel, it will be too much water and it's not very good also.
Just looking at the chat here, Lisa, and we have 2 people signed up for your mini workshop.
Great.
So exciting. What will you be painting for us in the mini workshop?
On mini workshop, I will be painting pancakes. It's also very great theme. I understand that my students also love donuts and pancakes, and pancakes also looks very beautiful, but it's more difficult than donut. So I decided to choose this theme for mini workshop because it needs more time for painting. So I'm going to paint this bottom part because the glaze is, I will stay it here just to leave for not to be very wet, for drying. Yes, for drying. I will be using umber brown and brick brown. Umber brown for lights and brick brown for shadows. If you don't have umber brown, for example, take something like ochre, something light. You need something light. I think this color is better than umber brown, so I will be using this and these colors. So I start from the first layer. As always, it should be very light. Yellow color is very light, but don't make it too. Just make dilute it with the water. If you have the top part is too wet, be careful, because if it's not dry, it can
Lead.
Yes, lead. So be careful. Your glaze should be dry. So I have first layer, and now I will use the second layer while it wet. I use it for this effect, with this effect. And also I wanted to say, don't use now burnt sienna or dark brown, because they have a very cold tone, and this cold tone is will look very dirty on this donut, because it has warm colors on this bottom part. So if you will use burnt sienna, it will be very dirty. So yes, we have shadows a little bit, so we have a little volume here. But I see that I made a little, I want to make bigger this part, because I think it's too small. And not so perfect. I won't make it so very perfect and very perfect oval. So I make it not very perfect. Like this. And also I add this color, and then in the middle I won't add this umber brown, because in the middle we have very dark shadows, so we don't need to make it very light. And again, be careful, your glaze should be dry. So, and yes, we made a middle. And to make the shadows in the middle, we need to add a little blue. Blue and brown. And when you add blue, you will get a darker color. I use not ultramarine. I use Prussian blue color. Yes, I think this.
Yeah.
And I add shadows. This middle part is very dark, so don't be afraid to add dark color. Yes, my glaze is very dry, so I can add dark parts, the most darker parts. And I again take pink color, blue color, and a little bit brown color to get darker pink. Don't use too much black, not in this way, because it can be dirty, and it's not it can be dirty. So take a little bit blue, not very, not black. So
Black would be too overpowering, right?
Again, please.
Black would be too strong of a color,
Yes,
right?
yes,
It would
yes. It
just
will be
take
too
over
strong.
the other ones.
Yes, it's not this. This donut should be very transparent and juicy, and black color is not be very good here. So I'm not using. If you need very sharp shadows, for example, you are painting on the nature, and sometimes trees has very dark colors, leaves has very dark shadows, almost black, but not our donut. And I'm adding details with this dark color. Plus details here. You can add some dots because our donut now is very smooth. I don't like very smooth paintings because they look very perfect, I think. And I like to
plastic.
make some. Yes, plastic. Yes, you're right. I forget the word, but I like to add some texture, some dots, some strokes, and I think it looks better. But it should be very light, or use light color, not very black color or not very dark color, just very soft. And we leave our glaze for some minutes, and okay, and let's make the bottom part. I'm taking the dark
Alisa, just letting you know, we're about halfway through the demo. We have another 30 minutes.
We have 30 minutes for painting. Yes, we can. I see the time. I think
I'm just letting you know.
Okay, thank you.
Just because sometimes artists can get a little carried away and they forget how long it is. So I'm just giving you a little time update.
I was very nervous, so I have what I have time. I have all that I need, so I prepared too much for this class. So I'm taking again burnt brick brown and little blue. Yes, little blue, not a little, but blue to make dark color. Yes, you can see it. It's almost black, but not black, but very dark brown. And I will make shadows here. Again, not be afraid that they are too dark. We will blur it a little. Here. We are working with layers, so make this layers layer by layer, not to hurry to make it very dark. It's a very meditative, I think, to add layers to make it dark and darker.
Yeah, I agree.
If you see that your donut is very light, add more dark colors to your shadows. Okay, I leave for some time this part, and I will paint. Now I will paint powder for donut. if you know, give me a second. I will use yellow powder, red powder, green, and violet, I think. Yes, here I use this powder. If, as you know, yellow color is very transparent and very light, and it can what she can do. It's not very concentrated and it's not very dark, and we can't paint with yellow color on pink color. Yellow color, because yellow color is very transparent, but for example, red color has and green color has medium tone, so they can I can paint with the red color and green color on light pink donut. And in the same way, violet, black, and brown colors are very dark colors, so I can paint with these colors in very dark areas, and it will be okay. If we will have more time, I will paint this donut another way. For example, how I painted here, I leave empty spaces for this powder and paint it later, but I should have more time for it, and now we have paint in this way, like sketch, and it needs less time than if I will leave empty spaces, because it needs a lot of time. So I'll take yellow color, not yellow, orange, I think orange color, and paint this powder in some places. Try to paint this powder is in very light places, for example, where we painted highlights, because as I said, yellow color is very light color. And if your donut is too dark, don't take yellow color, take red color, for example, because if your pink is too dark, your yellow can't you can't put your yellow on this donut. Just remember about this tone scale. Yellow is very light color. So the next color is red color. It's darker than this pink, my pink donut.
I noticed too that you're leaving a slight highlight on the sprinkles or powder as well.
I'm trying in some places, not everywhere, but I'm leaving a little. Thank you for that you noticed it. I forget to tell.
No, it's okay.
I leave I leave a little highlight on every powder. How can I call this powder, or you call it different?
We call it sprinkles.
Sprinkles. Okay, sprinkles. Yeah. In every sprinkle, I leave a highlight because it also show you volume. We also, as I said, with these round shapes, you can see the volume. We also will add a little shadow under each sprinkle, and it will show us more volume. But next time, now we are just painting them. You can paint it in different places, because we are not trying to paint the same as on photo. We just can make everything that we want. Of course, if you want to paint like on photo, you should paint with in different way, as I said, like this, to leave empty spaces. But we are just painting it as a sketch, and I want to take green color. I take leaf green and mix it with blue color, and it becomes dark green color. And again, I'm painting it in different parts of this. It's of the donut. And I'm taking a violet color. I don't like to use very clear colors, but these sprinkles is in the nature you can find clear colors. For example, when we paint in leaves, when we will never use this lime green. For example, we will use leaf green, or we'll mix this lime green with another colors, because in the nature you can find such clean colors. But these sprinkles are made by the people, and it can be very bright. It's okay. So I will use violet. No, it's not violet. Where is violet? Colors is new for me, so I always forget where is color that I need. Royal purple, lime green. Where is lime green? This is violet. Violet is the most darkest color, except black. So I can paint these violet sprinkles in the darkest parts of my donut. Don't paint them in one direction, paint in different sides. Also, I have a very thin tip on my brush. It's also very important. And if you don't have a thin tip on your brush, take a brush a smaller size. I like synthetic brush because they are better for beginners. It's very comfortable to use.
I find they last longer too, and you don't have to do as much work to take care of them. So yeah, they're
Yes,
perfect for beginners.
Yes. Yes. So we have powder, and now we should make shadows under each sprinkle, but it's too wet now. Let's leave them for a minute and then make shadows. I want to make last shadows on our donut. So I'm taking again the brown and blue. No, it's not blue. And to add a little texture, more I will add more blue because I want very dark color, and I make shadows under this glaze. And I will add a little texture, as I said. Shadows here, here. wash my brush, take color a little bit lighter, and add some texture. Dots, paint different dots, strokes to show the texture of the donut because it's very smooth. If you like smooth donuts, it's okay. You can paint it like this, but I like it with texture. And I will paint texture in the middle. This is the most darkest part of our donut. So, and I leave it like this. And I will add, now I will add shadows under each sprinkle. I will take this color, it's a pink with the brown color. I will add more pink. It should be not very dark, but darker than our donut. And slightly make shadows under each sprinkle. And again, you should have a thin tip of your brush. It helps us to show the volume and to show that it's not glue on our donut, to make difference between them.
So we are coming close to the Q&A portion. I'll start it in a few minutes.
Yes,
if you have a question, oh, sorry, I was just talking to the audience.
Okay.
If you have a question, don't be shy. I'm just going to save it in a little note here. So when we get to the Q&A portion, I won't forget to ask it. And Alisa, if you're worried a little bit about time, don't worry. I can always ask you while you finish up.
Okay. But I'm just, I will finish it soon. So I need just two minutes and I will be done.
Oh, perfect timing then.
Yes. I think I want to add a little bit shadows to details to the glaze of this donut, but I think it will be the last thing you can make. You can don't paint this, but I want to make it here. In some places, just and again to add some texture. Maybe if you don't make it, if you didn't make it later. And I think that's all. Yes, I think
Beautiful.
I should stop. I think I should stop because if I can paint it very long time, but I think
yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Sometimes
yes.
It's so hard to tell when to stop.
Yes, I think it looks like this. Yes, but a little bit bigger. And I think it becomes a little bit darker than this, but yeah, it's okay. I use different colors.
It looks really good. Okay,
yes.
so if anybody has any questions, don't be shy. Now's the time to ask. I'll start by asking one that I saved from earlier. So Alisa, do you work as an artist full-time? Your work is beautiful.
Thank you. Yes, this is my job, and I'm working as an artist full time. I started working about 3 years ago, but I'm painting all my life because I went to art school at 6 years old, and since 6 years old I'm painting all my life. But work as
Wow.
an artist just for 3 years.
Wow, art school at just
Yes.
6 years old. That must have been super cool.
Yes. I didn't like to paint because I was too young and I didn't understand that it's a great idea to paint. But when I get older, I understand that I love this idea.
Yeah, your parents must be really cool.
Yes, thank you.
So don't be shy, guys. Ask questions. I'll just read you a couple comments while people type in some questions that we got. So Deborah said, I cannot talk while I paint. It is amazing to me that she can speak in a language other than her native language and paint. Many helpful tips.
Thank you. Yes, it's really difficult to paint and speak different language. I can speak in Russian when I paint, but in English it will be challenge for me, and I'm happy that I'm working today with you, and I think it's very useful. I'm happy that I can tell people something useful, and because I study a lot and I know many different useful information, and I think I should share this information with people. I shouldn't keep it in my mind, just in my mind.
I agree. I agree. And we learned so many tips today. So I can't wait for your mini workshop with us on July 22nd.
Thank you. I will be preparing for it too and try to tell more tips, more useful tips. You will definitely know because it will be more difficult than this donut, and we will have more time. And I think you will know many new things that I keep about 20 years in my painting life.
Perfect. We're going to get all the insider tips.
Yes, right.
Another question here. Does Alisa do Russian classes? I know a fair bit and I would love to take part in any other classes she has.
Again,
oh, sorry. Yep. She's Lottie here is wondering if you teach classes in Russian. She speaks a little bit and she's hoping to take more classes from you.
No, I don't have Russian classes, but I don't have now. I have only now I decide to teach in English. I have Patreon, so you can find only my videos there. I had different classes in Russian, but I decided to close it because I don't want too many different sources. It's difficult for me to work in in different places, and I have many work as an artist, and I don't have time for many different classes, and I decided to focus on a small amount of platforms.
Right. So if you are curious, Lottie, about learning more from Alisa, sign up for her mini workshop. I just posted the link in the chat there. Another question here from Priya. Hi, from London. Do you have any good tips for water control? I feel like that's what I struggle with the most with watercolor. So controlling water flow.
Controlling water, you mean with a brush? You should have a good brush. It's really important. Good brush and good paper. Be sure that you have synthetic good brush and cotton paper, because it's very important. And if you can't feel the water, you just need to practice. easy advice, but it works. You need to practice just and use a paper towel, because if your brush is too wet, just use paper towel. And every brush and every paper need different amount of water. I can say that you need 2 cups, just millimeters of water. Every painting, every brush need different amount of water, and it depends on different. It depends on, and also if you live in a very hot country, you need more water. If you live in a cold country, you need less water. It's also important. So just a simple advice, but you need just practice and fill your paper, fill your brush, and use paper towel.
Yeah, good tips. If anybody is curious as to the sketchbook Alisa used, it is one of our sketchbooks. I will put a link for it in the chat right now in case you wanted to check it out.
Yes, it is cotton thick paper, and it's very good for, you can see how I work. It's very good with water, and I like it. I like cotton paper. It's better. 300 GSM. It's cotton paper is the best paper for watercolor painting.
Is that a hot press or a cold press sketchbook?
I think it's cold press. I think, yes, it's cold press because it has texture. Yes, I think it's cold press. I can't find.
Do you mainly work with cold press paper?
It depends on, again, if I paint for myself, I work on cold press paper, but if I paint for books, I use hot press paper because I need that paper more smooth paper, and hot press paper is smoother than cold press.
Is that because you want to be a little bit more accurate with?
Yes.
Yeah.
I need more details, and I don't need the structure of paper in the books. When I paint for myself, I like to see the structure of this paper, the dots, but when I paint for book, I scan my works, and I don't need this structure on these books.
Right.
I use hot paper.
Yeah. I saw a couple of people in the chat saying that they were new to using watercolor. So if you're curious as to the difference, like Alisa said, watercolor cold press paper is more textured. So when you're using, let's say, like a wet on wet technique, it's going to travel a little bit differently than it would on hot press. It might kind of just do its own thing, and it's a little bit of an experiment. Whereas hot press is a lot more accurate to where your brush is going.
Yes, it's good for botanical painting if you need more details, and hot pressed paper is dry to very fast, but this paper cold press dry not very fast, and we have time to add shadows and to work wet and wet. Yes.
Yep. Good points. All right, so we're coming to the end here. I'm just going to put in again the link for your mini workshop where you'll be painting pancakes.
Yes, pancakes with blueberry and honey. I think I don't remember now, but I think it will be with honey and blueberry.
Yum! Sounds so good. And it looks so realistic, like the donut. It's making me hungry.
Yes. Take it.
Also, I'm going to put a link in the chat for our survey. It's a quick multiple choice survey. It just helps us to improve content. If you guys wouldn't mind filling it out, there is a little bit of a comment section at the bottom. If you guys have any thoughts as to what you want to see in the future demos, or comments of how awesome you think Alisa did today, you can put them in there. We check these all the time just to make sure that we're giving you guys the content that you want to see. So if you guys are wanting to see different things, make sure that you put it in there. Thank you all so much for joining. Again, my name is Brittany and I was your studio host today. Again, thank you so much, Alisa. You are an amazing teacher.
Thank you, Brittany. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you all to everybody who already signed up for the mini workshop as well. Can't wait to see you there. If you haven't signed up yet and you were curious, just make sure to check out that link so you can find out all the information. If you can't make it to the actual workshop date, we will send you a recording of it. So if you're worried that it might conflict with a schedule of yours and you still want to learn, don't worry, you'll get a recording of it. Alrighty, so with that being said, I will let everybody go and have a wonderful day. This is, yes, Elizabeth, this is going to be posted on our YouTube channel, so you'll be able to rewatch this video as well in case you weren't able to paint along today. Thank you all for joining and can't wait to see you all in the mini workshop. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Awesome. So I just ended it on